Women in Hollywood. That's a very interesting topic because there are women, gorgeous women in Hollywood, in front of the cameras. And right from the days of Ava Gardner that we grew up with and Grace Kelly, I remember watching these amazing women, never really thinking how difficult their journey must have been. Not even Hitchcock's heroines. But as time went by and we became more aware as a world of how difficult it is for women to have their voice heard, and I started making my first directorial debut as a Hollywood director and a producer, I realized that if I succumb to the same thing that everyone does, that make a film that is very palatable to the Western audience or only to the Indian audience, I don't really then felt the need to make the film. So I did take on a kind of challenging task, a story about a woman, directed by a woman lead, the first brown woman in Hollywood. Less than 1% of women in Hollywood are Asians. Less than 4% are women behind the cameras. And, there are more women in politics in America, at least 28%. So it was quite a challenge that in a glamorous industry like that, there are such few women. And why is it it's the same 10, 12 women regurgitated? Great, they may have talent, but there is something missing. That there are not enough women, and especially not brown women. Very different than saying we just don't have women. So after having laid that out and I started writing the script, becoming my own producer, directing it, running around for a distributor, it did take a long time, but I'm very happy I did it because I got to meet such fantastic people. A lot of men who helped me on the project and who were so kind to give me advice, which is something more valuable than money very often, as was in my case. And they were generous with their time, with their advice, and they were passionate about filmmaking. And that helped me, but it kept me very focused on understanding that as a woman in Hollywood, I am going to face these problems. Stop whining, stop complaining, just deal with it. And it was a long journey, as most people who make films understand, that just to get your film edited for a year beautifully, then to get it to a distributor, it's a challenge because even the distributors are not to blame. They say we need an audience who's going to consume it. And the audience always says, well, we need better films, we need better quality. But they rarely would rush to see movies which just don't have big names or touted to the same average crowd of a lot of mediocrity. And that becomes a very fine line between commercial cinema and art films. And again, then the distributor has to decide where your film will fall. So very often we were asked, oh my God, you have a female lead, that too brown. And often I was asked, even in Trump's America, you want to have a brown woman chasing a white man? All these comments made me realize that we are still nowhere close to being equal to men. Nothing great that I'm saying. But we were fortunate to win the Reframe Award, which is given to equal gender parity and for outstanding work in cinema. And we won at the Vancouver International Film Festival for the Best Social Empowerment Film. We won the award for Women in Film and TV. So we have had a wonderful journey discovering our film, discovering ourselves, discovering our audience. But it is a huge challenge, and I enjoy challenges. So taking the bull by its horns and saying, well, one fine day I'm going to make a film for Hollywood, I recommend everyone try it. And it is a lot of learning and a lot of fun. Please do watch our film, The Warrior Queen of Jhansi.
Well, I'm just thinking of the story of the woman who delivered a baby on the roadside while all the migrant laborers are walking back home. He just did not have any possibility of going to go to any doctor, to any nursing home. She was walking while she got her labor pain and she produced the baby. One of the journalist friends who were there, he called me and said that, look, I mean, we wanted to take a shot where she is really feeling harassed, she's crying, and no, she just wrapped up the baby nicely with her own sari and she started walking back. This is resilience. This is the strength of a woman that we saw during even this COVID. This speaks volumes about how resilient women are. But unfortunately, in spite of the fact that in this COVID crisis, they are the frontline fighters, nurses in the hospitals and women, homemakers at home, workers in the office, in the IT companies, in banking, in all kinds of media, entertainment. Women are the frontline workers. They are reporting, taking courage to go to those areas where so much of infection is there. Still, they are reporting. But this COVID, unfortunately, has not been planned, designed, and governed from gender lens. This is really very unfortunate that we are seeing that so many women are suffering domestic violence. The cases of domestic violence has gone double. Even according to the National Commission for Women data, our own counseling centers are receiving so many cases of violence. Also, look at the way women have no choices. Living in one home, two-room home, what can they do? They have to look after the children, the elderly. Are there men who are not used to doing any household chores? They're not, and whatever they are doing is reluctantly, and also because of that, intra-household tension is growing. We know that women, if this pandemic has to really, we all have to survive as humanity. We have to move to the next stage in life, to this new normal that we are talking about. We have to keep women in the center of every idea, every policy, every thinking, and the governance will have to be delivered that way.